You're listening to the Download Youth Ministry Podcast.
Inside joke. That's
1, 2, 3. Hey, everybody! Welcome to the Download Youth Ministry Podcast, part of the DYM Podcast Network.
Yeah,
with
it
8
is.
shows. Youth Ministry Podcast
just
to help
a part,
you win.
not a significant.
No, we're
major
the show. This is
foundational part.
episode 341. We're kind of the flagship. We're the OG. We've been around for a long time. We started this thing.
What does OG stand for?
Original Gangster.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
us.
Which
I've never
is,
seen
which
more
is
gangster
Jessica
podcasts.
Sanchez, who joins us. Thank you, Jessica. Speaking of gangster.
Yeah, all the way from Los Angeles.
That's
Youth
right.
Ministry
That's
gangster
right.
right here.
And
LA.
Josh Griffin and
all the way from Mission Viejo, California.
Yeah, from Orange County suburbia.
yeah, and Pismo, who is returned from Pismo. It's Mr. Matt OK McGill.
The prodigal
Unpismoed.
co-founder is back.
Yeah.
The prodigal co-founder. That's pretty good.
Matt, do you want to tell the story to some of our more we've got rewinders, and a rewinder is
Yep.
somebody that has gone all the way back to the beginning and listened to all of the shows.
Yes.
Which God bless them.
Yeah.
for that.
Seriously,
know.
God rest you, merry gentlemen.
Do you want it for the newer people who
Yeah.
would not?
What would
do
you like
that?
me to do? This
Well,
could go in so many
You
directions.
and me and Josh,
Yes.
over 10 years ago,
Wow.
Yeah.
were sitting in was it a pizza place?
No, it was an Indian food restaurant.
Indian buffet.
Yes.
And
Basmati
Brazel
rice. It was delicious.
That's
Sorry.
a great pronunciation of that. By the
Yeah.
way.
Basmati?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah.
They had
It's
rice.
always-
Wow,
Okay.
you had me at Indian buffet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
The place has
And I
since
thought it was
closed down.
dangerous.
I thought it was a pizza place.
You
so that's how
always
much I remember.
forget. Yeah.
Fields
That's
ordered
how good
off the American
Indian
menu.
food was.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pizza place.
Yeah,
Fields had
Brazel,
McNuggets.
Andy Brazelton, who is a former student of ours, who was at the time running Simply Youth Ministry, was like,
Wow.
Fields, you got to do this thing called a podcast, and it'll be great. It's not produced. It's not, you don't have to prep 9 hours to make it go, and there was a lot of hesitation. But Indian food, what can't be accomplished with Indian food?
2007,
Yeah.
2005.
Yeah,
when
about that
was
time.
Yeah, it's way back.
it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know how. I mean,
And then
time is really hard for me to keep track of.
Yeah, totally.
So
And then
it's temporary.
We
Why-
said
why
we
waste
said
time?
yes.
Uh-huh.
Let's try it.
Yep, and
And
I
we
got a little red MP3 player that was like the size of my gigantic thumb, and we just put that in the middle of the table and recorded directly into that. Talk about terrible audio.
Wow.
Yeah. Not like
It
today's
was-
rich, beautiful audio.
Oh, it was great. Then we got
Our first show was 00.
Our Double Zero was our
It
first
was a
show.
test show to see if we even wanted to do it or if we
Yeah.
could make it work.
Yeah.
And
I was a listener back then.
Oh,
Were you?
you were? Yeah.
Sure was.
So then
That's
we were really concerned with having like enough to do. So we had Rob Schaefer. Was that the right name?
Ross Schaefer.
Ross.
We were
Schaefer.
thinking of bits.
Yeah, and he was the comedy person.
We called-
And
we called in
Yep.
to-
Wow.
when he had his own late night TV show, like against Arsenio Hall or something, like he was.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the story?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He was the
Wow,
real deal.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So it was great. I mean, it was funny. Then I think we got microphones from Jim. I think he got new
Yeah,
microphones.
Jim Burns had
You
a radio
inherited.
show.
They were
Yes.
they
and
were
we
on
had
ear.
these microphones, and then I was doing the audio I was
Wow.
picking a little bit of the music for before the show,
which was a surprise to all of us
Yes,
each time.
it was great.
It was great.
It was
And the most
Yeah.
legendary moment of that was what, Matt?
And
how do
still
you
love to
compare
hear this.
legends?
I still love to hear
It's a
this
great
story.
story.
So even if you've heard it, you gotta love
Please
it. Matt
share.
would tease he would just come out with some song. It was usually like
Usually
a
we
Black
play
Sabbath or Van Halen
Yeah,
Right.
some
or
kind of
Metallica.
anti-Christian
Metallica,
music. Secret messages when you
something
played it
that you
backwards.
never heard in your homeschool music sessions.
Yeah.
So
we were. It
I
was
was a
the-
Christian, so I was
the
like, I'm
day
not
that
gonna
I
listen.
remember
Right,
most.
yeah.
It was the day of or the week of Steve Irwin, the animal hunter.
Yeah, the
Yes.
crocodile guy.
When he was
Crocodile,
attacked.
Yeah.
who was killed.
Yeah.
And Matt plays what song?
it was a great song,
He
but
was
I'm just
killed
not sure
by a
that's
stingray barb through
Right.
his chest.
right. And most of the songs we would play, and there would be no comments made. You just
Right.
Yeah.
you didn't really listen.
Even if
didn't
you were really
really
thoughtful,
Just
we didn't
background
really
noise.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
I
Steve
just
What
thought
was
I'll
the
do
song?
something.
Tragic death out in nature, and what song do you play?
It was shot through the heart.
the most insensitive, a national
Which is
hero,
Bon Jovi, right? I think that was Bon
an
Jovi.
American
It was
icon
too
born in
soon.
Australia.
Yeah, no, it.
Too soon.
Shot through the heart. The week he is literally shot through the heart. by a stingray.
I will full-heartedly admit.
Full-heartedly.
No, that maybe not have been the most sensitive thing that a person could do. That
A
Wholeheartedly
decade
that
later.
maybe,
Yeah.
A decade later, he
Yeah.
fully
Yeah.
owns it.
No, I
Usually
would.
That's what it takes for Matt.
Yeah.
About a decade
about a
later.
decade or so.
Yeah.
That sounds
He
right.
will, he will admit that he was wrong with
What
something.
what I remember about that season was Josh and Angie's prayer postures,
Oh, shoot.
positions. I don't even
Yeah.
know what word was used,
Yeah,
but
per positions. I think was
Position.
it.
Yeah.
yeah.
When we make big life decisions, Angela, my wife, and I, we lay on the floor as a symbol of our humility before God. And we've done it for we've had 5 really big decisions that we
Yeah.
made. All 5 of those we have laid on the floor.
But it
it was a very private, personal.
Yeah, the
thing.
backstory
Which you
is
shared.
that we all had 1 or 2 topics that's we kind of agreed we're not going to talk about this on the show. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure I really had any topics submitted into
Yeah.
that category, but
I
but
did.
You did,
And that was it.
And
Well, didn't he have a bunch? I mean, for the
No.
first few years, he was pretty private. Josh
yeah,
is pretty
Well,
kind
no,
of private.
I did
I
have
had
one.
little
I remember what
kids.
mine
Yeah,
was.
your wife is
involving my
very
in-laws.
private.
She's a private person, so she's
but-
don't put us all out there. And
Yeah.
kids' names was a
Yeah.
big one for
Yeah.
her.
Right.
And I was like, great, I can honor that. But
Totally.
podcasts were new. We were exploring this media that didn't.
You thought nobody was listening probably those early days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no.
who
Assuming
knew that
It would
hundreds
become,
of thousands of
yeah.
downloads and
Later.
now millions and millions.
Oh
It's
my
crazy.
goodness. Yada yada yada.
Nationally
Matt,
syndicated.
Matt, what was yours? You seem to remember yours, and now I'm wondering.
Yeah, I did. I
What-
did.
what was
remember
your
mine.
one
I already,
off-limit
I
subject?
already brought it up, and you missed it.
Oh, the Van Halen thing.
No, that wasn't it.
Your love for non-Christian music.
No, it's too late. You're gonna have to listen to the show.
Rewind.
I didn't hear it either.
Yeah.
No, too bad.
And I listened to everything you said.
Nick, our audio
I don't
engineer,
think
didn't
you
even
said
hear
it.
it.
Yeah.
No, I
Did you
didn't.
hear it?
What was it? And I'll tell you what you
told-
said. I will
Thank
admit.
you. Thank you.
I will admit if I'm wrong that if I heard it.
Sure
What was
will.
it? Hurry.
Nope, I can't.
Come on. Do you want to plug for your website?
No, I don't need a
Oh,
plug.
okay.
All right.
Don't
All right.
Google Matt McGill and coaching youth ministry.
All right.
Do not do it.
It still won't come up.
Yeah.
But thanks, Josh. I
Matt,
appreciate that.
Matt, thanks for being back on the show after all those fun years,
Oh.
hundreds of episodes. Thanks for coming back, dude.
Okay. Well, after the show, then
Happy
you
to be
need
part of
You
the-
need to tell us what it was.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
you genuinely don't
I really
remember?
didn't hear. No. What was
I'll
it?
write it on a piece of paper.
Okay. Right on a
Because-
piece of paper because
be-
it's really
because
getting me now.
It was, but you really can't.
I won't.
I mean,
I won't. If I
This
promise,
was
I won't.
actually.
Oh,
this
no, I
was-
remember.
This was actually brought up.
I
this
remember.
Was
Can I
actually,
say it?
No.
No.
You'll remember it as soon as he writes it down.
This was actually brought up during
Oh,
the
yeah.
summer, where
I didn't hear
where-
you say it in this show.
I didn't
though.
either.
Yeah, I
didn't
did.
either, but I
You
just remembered it.
didn't.
No, I did.
Okay, we'll have to listen to that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when?
Secret message.
But I brought it up.
It's
a few
backwards
times, even though I
masking.
wasn't.
Oh,
supposed
yeah,
to.
you
you
have.
did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember one of the things you used to do, Fields? Every time we'd mention the blog that I ran, it was called More Than Dodgeball. You would always add a little cha-ching on the end of it. That became a thing. Well,
yeah.
here's some fun news. I just got More Than Dodgeball back.
Cha-ching.
I got it. I don't
What?
know what I'm going to do with it, but I got it back. If you go to
Yeah.
morethandodgeball.com, it will just go to Download Youth Ministry right now. But I'm gonna do something.
How did that happen?
I emailed the guy who owns it and the people that I used to work for. Simple Youth Ministry Group Publishing. I blogged for them.
Yeah,
for
I was wondering
years.
why you were not saying.
Yeah,
it.
no, that's fine.
It's a
And they
big
said, of
secret.
course, you can have it back. Yes, take it. Do something great with it.
They're like,
And they
it's
just
worth
hand it-
nothing to us now.
Probably. It's worth nothing to anyone.
No,
But if you have an idea,
Kidding.
write
but
in
it's-
some ideas
it's
on what
great
we should do
that-
with More Than
That's so
Dodgeball.
I mean,
Cool.
honestly though, that's a cool thing that they would let go of
Super
something
cool.
that they don't have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
that to hold on to.
Right.
Yeah, it's-
That's so special.
Yeah.
Memories.
I know.
Hey, on the
Memories.
this show, episode 341, we have sponsors.
We do.
Orange, theorangetour.com.
Maybe a little bit of
.org.
that
Yeah,
sponsorship could trickle down to the B team. What do you think about that? That'd be
Here's
great.
what you need to know. The XP3 curriculum, if you're interested in a strategic curriculum for your youth ministry for the whole year, you can get an exclusive code by writing in. We cannot talk about it on the air.
Oh, right.
Wow.
But if you write in,
Better than any code you could find anywhere.
it is.
Better
And-
the lowest price. They've
and did you
committed
know-
to us. Whatever lowest price they advertise XP3
So
curriculum,
podcast at downloadyouthministry.com.
That's it.
and just ask for the best orange deal ever.
Wow.
I know we
Wow.
can't tweet
Now
it. We
you
can't
say
talk
it's a
about it,
strategic.
nothing.
You say it's a strategic curriculum, but
Yeah.
what do you mean by strategic? Because that gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah. Well, I would say strategic is they will give you a plan to teach your youth ministry.
Is it a good plan?
I would say so.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Really
Okay, so
sharp
they'll
people
give you a
from
good plan.
North Point and other
Wow.
churches have contributed to this plan. That help you teach the scriptures in
Right.
formation of their spiritual formation, their adolescent development. It's really been
How about the
thought out.
rapture? Did they cover the rapture?
I hope so, because
Okay.
even though it's a man-made construct, I'm in.
There you go.
I'm kidding.
Griff.
I'm all.
I love
I'm
it.
all about the rapture.
That's perfect.
Hey, even if it is, I'm still cheering for it. Like, come back
That's
first.
Is
then
it all
tribulation.
theology, man?
Yeah. Seriously.
I want to
and
be
pre-trib
pre-trib.
all the
I
way.
want to be pre-trib. I don't care what else. I just want to be
No,
pre-trib.
that has nothing to do with the rapture. Okay.
And
I'll
All
tell
right,
you this,
and we're back.
if it's
Thank you for
happening,
fast-forwarding
I'm
to
going
this
with it.
point.
Orange is one of
Exactly.
our sponsors, Leader Trex, who we love so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are one of our sponsors.
we
and-
love them. They helped us this past summer with Student Leadership Conference. They are good.
Yeah,
They're
Awesome.
awesome.
yeah, and get on their email list because they send a lot of them.
They send an email every day of the week.
Always
And
updating.
sometimes more than once. It's
Yes.
rough.
Yeah.
No,
I love them. It's a lot of emails.
No, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. They're creative. They got great stuff.
They do have great stuff.
And
Hey,
it's
and
strategic.
then we also have
Mm-hmm.
Fadi's
GiveCentral.org.
GiveCentral.org.
I didn't know that was Fadi's. I just found that out last show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And GiveCentral.org is what,
Yeah,
Josh?
it helps.
How come should I, Allison? I should be using that for our little thing with Sammy, huh? We should. do
You
it. We
should.
look into
Online
that.
giving and donation platform for churches, ministries, and nonprofits.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
if
Qualifies.
anyone gives you money, you can do it electronically
Yeah.
and at the best rate in the financial world. I'm telling you, Fadi will hook
So
you up. He's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
Fadi helps pay for studios and lights and microphones. And
tattoos. Remember they got tattoos
he
at
did
the
pay
last.
for the
Goodness, that's
DYM
right.
tattoos.
Did you hear about that, Jim?
Yes, I was
Oh.
there that night.
Oh, wow.
That was
really
2 or
wild.
3 tattoos? 3.
Three. But
Three
one was small,
tattoos.
like added
No,
to another tattoo.
doesn't
That barely
matter.
counts.
No,
Just
that
finishing
counts.
an
He's-
existing
yeah.
work of art.
But the other guy with the giant DYM on his ribs.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know the backstory, that Fadi
Yeah,
offered to pay
such
people
insider.
to get a DYM tattoo, and 3 people got
And they didn't even blink.
at 3 out of 100 at DYM 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
people
this
with
year at
tattoos
DYM
don't
200,
really have
which is
morals.
just around the corner. What should we do? Another? We bring the tattoo.
I don't
down?
know, but speaking of just around the corner is
He wants you to bring the tattoo.
Download Youth Ministry.
Oh yeah.
Download Youth Ministry has a community Facebook that there's
Oh,
like
yeah.
10,000 youth workers that are on it, and they chime in. I've noticed that the discussion is I can't get on it as often as I would like to.
Yeah.
But
You know,
Josh
we
is
make,
on it a lot.
We make
I'm on it
time
a
for
lot.
things that are important.
I know. I got a lot of things that are
People
important.
count because people count.
That's
And
right.
it makes us feel better about ourselves.
We count people because people
People
count.
count.
Because senior pastors make us.
Yeah.
And they judge our self-worth on it. Continue.
Yeah. And so most people,
because
if you haven't,
metrics is terrible.
you have an idea and you ask a question, and a lot of people respond. I found that the ones
That's
that
awesome.
don't are kind of the cavalier ones, where people say things like, "Okay, crowd games, go."
I know.
Nobody responds
Yeah.
to those.
No.
Or here's a picture of my multi-million-dollar youth room. What should I do to remodel it? And
I
everyone's
know.
like, "You're an I don't even have a budget.
Yeah.
You're squirrely."
Oh yeah, some people were harshing on that one.
Yeah.
Really?
That was a
Well,
tough one. I did see that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't see the whole.
It's
was that a
okay.
bad
Thread
phrase?
or
It's an unbelievable community.
Anyway, it's
Just
great.
come in humble and be awesome and ask
Yeah.
good questions.
Yeah.
And contribute to other people's questions.
And Megan Saxman Del Grosso
Ooh.
said, "I went
What
to the
was her
Orange
last name?
Conference." Del Grosso. I went to the
Italian.
Orange Conference this year, and the DYM group that was there used a prize distributor app thing. Any idea what it might be called? I attempted to find it in the store, but I am having no luck. Thanks.
Prize distributor app thing.
Maybe you have
Yes.
too much stuff in the store.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But
we
the
should
only
get rid of
thing you
Matt's
really
stuff.
need
Prize distributor?
is Sidekick, right, Josh?
Sidekick is what she's clearly talking about. One of the builders inside of Sidekick are called Boxes, and internally we call it a prize distributor app. Just
Right.
kidding, we don't do
Cool.
that.
Yeah,
but
go
you
to-
can type in prizes, pick
But
emojis.
you got to
picks
say it a
them
little
at
slower
random.
because it's not psychic. It's sidekick.
That's funny.
Every time you or McBee talk about it,
Side
I hear
kick.
psychic.
Have you guys ever heard psychic versus sidekick?
Yeah.
Hey, wait,
No, they're insiders.
Ooh.
But for normal
Matt,
people,
I didn't see that coming.
yeah.
It could sound like psychic.
Thank you.
That's good.
get
Go
it.
to
For the
go to
support.
sidekick.tv.
Side
That's
Find that
kick.
word.
psychic.tv.
I'm like,
I like
what in the
this.
world is DYM getting into?
I know.
Yeah,
these
we're telling the
days?
future.
Palm readers.
My future's going to be lunch pretty quick, so
Yeah.
let's get to the show, guys.
No, the show's started. This is the show.
is
Wait,
the
this-
show.
we've been recording this
The sh-
whole time?
The show
Whole
is us
time.
talking about the history of the show a little bit.
Yep.
Because
Okay.
that's interesting.
It's good to catch people up to kind
It
of
is.
understand who the
B team
legend
is.
Matt
Yes.
McGill,
Yeah.
who used to be the A team and then left us,
Oh, man.
become
Yeah.
a senior pastor, and that didn't materialize.
Talk about
he
B
was
team.
the B
Yeah.
team there.
Yeah.
That's going to be my memoir. Welcome to the B team.
That's not bad. I'd read that.
You
Yeah.
read that?
I'd read that.
Man,
Great
you
title.
Were a, s-
B versus the world.
you were a starter. You were a starter in high school. You were a high school center. Honorable mention. You were pretty darn good.
There you go. I wondered where you were going.
Honorable mention all conference?
I got honorable mention at
Wow.
guard. I got moved over to guard.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Junior year?
Senior year.
That's awesome.
But
No,
Matt
honorable
was
mention's
responsible for like the entire team coming to our youth group.
That's cool.
Oh, I love that.
exactly. I mean,
That's-
I
there
went.
goes my reward in heaven.
No,
Yeah.
I went to the
hard
championship
for that.
game of their senior year in high school as the youth pastor.
Yep.
I knew everybody on the starting
Wow.
offense and the starting defense because Matt had brought
Because of
them
this kid.
So
to youth
cool.
group. They lost to Sunny Hills in the championship. I still remember
All
that.
those efforts were in vain.
Yeah,
7-3. It was terrible.
yeah. It
Oh,
wasn't,
7-3.
wasn't a good
Yeah,
game.
we
Tell-
were inside the 20 3 times.
Tell the
Didn't score.
the coach said about Jesus blocking.
No way.
Yeah, so I
Matt was known as the Christian kid.
yeah, I mean I was Christian on the team, one of the few. But I got moved to guard, and one of the things the guard does is pull to the outside and block for somebody. And so back then I could actually move a little bit faster than I did now. But I've got you. For those of you who know me even a little bit, I don't necessarily trust other people to do what they're supposed to do, and so that started at an early age. And so I would pull, and I would look back to make sure that the running back was back there. But as I look back, I would miss my block. So I
Yeah.
did that a couple times, and so we were watching that on film. The coach replayed it like 6 times without saying anything, which was just death, and
Yeah.
because you could be just flayed alive. And so all of a sudden he screams, he goes, and I'm going to try and back up a little bit here, but he goes, "McGill, what is happening on this play, McGill? That is not a Christian block. If Jesus was on our team, he would not block like that." And it's true. It's totally true.
way.
So, yep.
And then you lost the championship.
Yeah.
No, not in that game. We didn't watch film after the last game. Doesn't make any sense.
I thought you guys were really dedicated.
Yeah.
Improve every
That's
every
actually
game.
the name of the show, Allison. If Jesus was on this team, he would not block like that. There
That's
you go.
perfect.
There you go. Hey, this is a question from Ronald Long. He says, I basically
Oh.
drank the DYM Kool-Aid, DYM Gold Member, DYM Sidekick user, DYM
Wow.
Ambassador, DYM
Podcast person,
author, DYM editor, DYM user, DYM 100 attendee,
Wow.
twice, DYM 200 future attendee. Here's my question.
Wow.
Talking Squirrels podcast.
That's a gallon
Is
of
that
Kool-Aid.
on the list or no?
No, but that
dang
is
it.
him.
Oops.
No, he
Sorry.
has a junior high podcast
I
as
just-
well. You can talk about it.
I
It's
just
a good
promoted
show.
a non-network. I mean, what am I
Yeah.
doing
Okay.
here? This is
Yeah, how
terrible.
It'll be your last show, man.
Yeah, it was great having you on, dude. Well, actually,
No,
can
I'm
we
sure-
sub somebody in right now, even that'd be fun.
Yeah.
He said, here's my question. Our pastor recently had an all-staff meeting, encouraged us to schedule a one-on-one meeting with him. If you had an hour with your senior pastor, what questions would you ask? How would you encourage him? What bribes would you bring to the table? You got an hour with your senior pastor.
I mean,
It's
the
a cool
context
question.
would be helpful. I mean, that's a tough question.
Why
You're
is
all-
it a tough
You're all
question?
in trouble.
In the sense that, like, what's the context around it as far as, like, why does he want to meet? Does he want to know how you're doing personally, one-on-one, because he's out of touch? Does he want to know what you're working on, ministry objectives for the quarter? You know, I mean, what's the...
He just wants to meet with you for an hour. Just
Yeah.
let it be.
Whoa.
Let it be a little simple.
He wants to hang. I kind of like that.
Yeah, an hour.
That's what you assume,
Yeah.
huh?
No, I would. I assume he'd want to hang with me, but he's just really busy and doesn't get to a lot, so he's
Yeah.
making time.
Yeah, he's reorganizing his priorities.
Yeah.
Says I've been too heads down. I'm not with the people enough.
Hey, I know
Yeah.
we came out of a really tough season with the giving campaign. I just want to reconnect with you.
Right.
Get
Find
an
out
hour.
who needs to be canned and who shouldn't be.
Yeah, I can give you some
No
insight.
pressure.
Okay, Jessica, you start. You got an hour.
What would you talk
An
to Rick
hour.
about?
What would I talk to Rick about?
Gardening.
Rick
He
Warren.
does love gardening.
Yep.
Rick Warren is your
I
senior
would
pastor.
definitely start with encouragement and just share with him how he's
Always
impacting.
good to grease the wheels.
Exactly. Exactly. Before you go into asking for more budget, before you go into like, why have I not been recognized? It's just great to just start with thanking your pastor for what he's doing, because I think they don't hear it as often as we think they hear it. I don't think that our senior pastors are hearing,
They're
hey,
lonely.
great job. Thank you so much for sacrificing this night to come encourage people at this event or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Thank you
So I
for
think
running
just-
6-hour staff meetings.
Yeah.
On
Thanks for
last-minute
sacrificing
notice.
a Friday afternoon to lead us at this 8-hour staff event.
No, that hasn't happened.
Well, but I do
So,
think
constructive feedback is what I'm
constructive
hearing.
feedback, love. I'm not gonna say them here, but I'd probably ask maybe 3 more pushing the envelope questions.
While I have you.
While I have
Yes.
you, is here are just some questions I have about how we run this. Why did we make this change? Not because I want to necessarily reverse the change, but I'm just interested in the thought process that went into this.
So is it a question like, hey, what's happening with, or is it more like, I think you're an idiot because?
Yeah.
Question or statement?
somewhere between the two sometimes.
Yep.
Would
No,
they be
but-
provocative questions? Like, can I throw one out?
Sure.
Like,
Okay.
why are there no women pastors in our church?
That's a great
Like
question.
a provocative, or would it be more of like a? I've noticed that women are being more elevated to the role of ministers. I'm really encouraged by that. Tell me about your philosophy. Like,
That's
Yes.
probably what I would lean
Right.
more toward. Is I'm seeing there are rumblings about this happening. Can you speak into that? Are you guys talking more about elevating women in ministry
Right.
at our church? How does that affect the women that are currently, in ministerial roles? But yeah, I'd start with encouragement and just sharing, and I also would take time to share what's happening in my ministry, because I want him to know about the awesome stuff that God's doing through our lay leaders and the amazing life change that's going on. Because I think that's certainly a part of what fuels him to also care about our ministry, is if he's hearing. And I'd also share some of the challenges that I'm having in my ministry, because I think he has influence to help
when
me.
he can make those problems go away in the snap of his fingers,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you're dealing with red tape.
Oh,
and whatever.
For sure.
I had one of those meetings with him years ago. It was fabulous, and he's like, "Why don't I just write a couple emails for you? Tell me what to say." I mean, it didn't happen very often. I think it only happened once. to tell you
Yeah.
the truth.
Oh, but when
But
it
it
happens.
was great. He fired off like 3 emails that really.
Yeah,
made things
I
happen.
recently had a
gift.
meeting with an elder, and in the room, he text messaged 3 different people.
Yeah.
Like, hey, why hasn't this happened? I'm meeting with Jess
Yeah.
right now. And that was so affirming to me, not because he was like, it just was
Yeah.
affirming that he cared enough to say, oh, yeah, you're right. Why hasn't that been done yet? Let me tell some. And within a week, it was done. And that
Awesome.
just was so
Yeah.
affirming to me. Like, you trust me. You really know that I'm coming with some legitimate concerns.
It's good.
So it's awesome.
It's good. Okay, so what I heard was encouragement, maybe some tough questions that have been on your mind, and then updating him on your ministry. Mm-hmm. Okay. What about you, Josh?
I would say I wouldn't waste any time with like vision for where the church is going, because I hear enough of that. I wouldn't necessarily waste time
Who
with
needs that vision stuff anyhow?
even like policies and procedures. I like that. I'd be interested with some of my questions. I definitely would start by affirming him or her in that role without a doubt. I think get people talking about their story and their passions, and not the stump speech that you hear from the senior pastor on stage when they talk about, but like I would want an off the grid story. Like if I could say something like, tell me, you were a youth pastor before you became a senior pastor. Did you ever have like, what was your most embarrassing moment? Or have you ever bombed on stage? Or just like some off the grid and off the record, quite honestly, stories would be so fun. Like
Now,
I'd
why?
want to,
Yeah.
Why?
I'd want to get to his heart in relationship and build our relationship and connection by then riffing on his story and telling about a funny story. I just think that's going to build a closeness.
And then leveraging that for your needs.
Of course. I just think that closeness between a youth pastor and a senior pastor,
Yeah.
there is just so much distance. And in my first ministry, felt that every single
Yeah.
day. I
Yeah.
dreaded seeing his car in the parking lot. And I would drive into the church, and we were the only two of them.
Was it an ugly car? or
So
was it-
it just brings up this pain in your heart, like, And I would try to find his heart and remind him
Right.
of why he does what he does. off the record stories
To build relationship.
Build relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
I
yep,
wouldn't
yep.
worry about anything to do with
Yeah.
the church.
You'd
I
more
just-
be concerned with, let me optimize this, like make this time all about
I
building
only-
our
I
relationship.
get these shots so rarely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love what you said. I love those answers. That's probably what I would more do, but this is what I would want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've said this for years, so I'm just going to say it, pretend it's mine, I guess. No, but I mean, I think having an agenda is important because you don't want to waste you don't want to waste their time, and I think that
Okay, let me pause just for a second.
Yeah.
While he's saying this,
Yeah.
let's you two guys be thinking of your senior pastor hacks.
Okay.
What?
Okay, we'll just stay on this
I
topic.
like it. I like
what's
it.
the
Okay.
senior pastor hack?
Just ideas. How would you work best with senior pastor? Go continue.
Oh.
Sorry, just
No,
get
no,
to
it's
mine
okay.
a second.
No, that is really all I was going to say. Is I mean, to me, I would probably, because I wouldn't want to waste senior pastor's time if I didn't get a lot of time with them. I would have multiple things. I would be ready to go in 4 or 5 directions. I mean, I'd spend the time thinking through to go, okay, if he wants to go personal, here's what I'd talk about. Not to be fake, but to be ready. If he wants to know my feedback on X, then I'd be ready to do that. If he wants to, whatever. So
Yeah,
years ago,
Thessalonians, you're ready to go.
Rick was pulling people into his house, one-on-one meetings and asking a couple questions. And so, I was ready to answer that question. And then I was done. I said, hey, I've got an idea for X. Do you want to hear it? And he said, yeah, and so I went through, but see, I was ready to share,
Yeah.
so.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think context makes a big difference. So, for example,
Now you think it's a big difference. You were giving me a hard time for
I was
asking
trying to
about it
understand
earlier.
what you were getting at.
Okay. There you go.
So at the church that I've been on the teaching team for the last few years, at Mariners Church, they have a new senior pastor, and I have a meeting scheduled with him. I'm not going in with any agenda. It's more of
Well,
just
yeah.
to get to know you, and probably for him to get to know me, because he may get to know me and go, sorry, don't want
No,
you to be.
he wants to get to know you because you'll be a better communicator than he is, and he wants.
He wants to
he
insulate
needs to
himself from
have-
the criticism.
He needs
Feels
to,
right.
No, he needs to have a go-to person. I mean, come on.
Well, and
Well,
he's a youth guy, so he's gonna use it really well.
Former youth
guy. Now
Yeah.
he's a
Anyway,
high
so I'm not. What I'm saying there is,
I mean,
going
I'm
in-
not. I don't even know his name, so I'm
Yeah,
not.
I'm just going in to get to know
Yeah.
him.
Right.
Yeah.
So in a setting, I like the encouragement piece. It'd be one of my hacks is that I think they're not hearing it from the staff. You can give them a pulse of what's happening
Yeah.
on the staff.
Yeah.
So I like the encouragement piece. I always have my senior pastor agenda. So in my notes, I'd have my Rick notes on my phone, and because there are going to be times when I'm going to run into him and I want to run this by him.
You're not. Yeah, you got to be ready.
Yeah.
Always,
Yep.
because there are some things that are higher than my pay grade that I'm not going to
Yeah.
answer on my own, and I want his feedback and his opinion on that. So I've said this before on the show, but this is one of my hacks is if I went into that hour meeting, I would say, Rick, unless you have an agenda, I only need 15 minutes of your time. Because
What a gift.
I want to be
Yeah.
that guy that doesn't drain him of his time. And I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't even sit down. And I would just say, and I've done this before when he's even said, you're making me nervous. Sit down. I want to communicate like, hey, I want to be out of your hair, because so many, if you work on a church staff, everybody is a time suck.
Just
Yeah.
like gigantic leeches.
Yeah,
No longer
and so-
so
humans.
true.
They're just
You
just
are
bundle
just
of flesh
stingrays
without
shooting
any
you right through the heart.
no bones, no
You are trying
spine.
to differentiate yourself between you and the other 3 people on staff or 30 people on staff. It'd be like, Matt, you coaching your kids right now that, hey, you're on part of a football team. How are you going to stand out on that football team? You got to
Yeah, I need
hustle.
to
You
do
got to, whatever you got to do. You're
Yeah.
coaching them to stand out. And for me, standing out is I'm not going to be that time suck.
Yeah.
And so I'm going in
Yeah.
with my agenda. Here are the 3 things I need an answer from you, and whatever the answer is, that's great. I just need that. So that would
Yeah.
be one of my primary.
So have an agenda. Be shorter than the time.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely encourage
Encouraging,
me. Hey,
yeah.
I've heard this. Even
Yeah.
when I was at Saddleback, there would be people coming to Rick and I might be talking in the courtyard or something, and somebody would come up, and before that person even got there, I'd either whisper his name to
Yep.
Rick,
Yep.
or right when he was there, I'd say, Rick, do you know Rob McInerney or whatever
Yeah.
it is? And Rick would,
Our
of
Doug's
course
great with names.
He is
though.
great with
He's-
Yeah.
He's yeah.
Yeah.
Another hack would be, as youth workers, take care of their kids. Make sure
Yeah.
their kids are connected. Give them a little extra love and attention. You say, would you play favorites? Absolutely.
Yeah, for
Absolutely
sure.
I would. Because
Just
my
forget what James says.
my job.
Hey, James says God doesn't show favoritism. Doesn't say
I'm
we
not
do.
God.
That away, sword answer drill, man.
Well done.
Oh yeah.
Respecter
No, that's not
respecter of persons. Right here. Little King James sword
persons.
drill, right?
Respecter of persons in power.
Yes.
So here's my job as a youth pastor. My
Thank
job
you,
as a youth
Jess.
pastor is to nobody's going to care more about the youth ministry than me. And so if I'm caring about the youth ministry, I know that my supervisor, if his son or daughter is in my ministry, they are basing their perceptions, their fact, everything about our youth ministry. I want to make sure their kid is taken. Now, do I want everybody's kid to be taken care of? Absolutely.
course,
Right.
yeah.
But I want to make sure that his are not falling through the cracks. So that would be one. The other hack that I
And just to be clear, hack is another word for idea, right?
yeah.
Yeah, tip, trick,
Tip.
idea.
Yeah. So is invite and uninvite. So we would be doing something, and I would say, Rick, hey, I want you to know we're doing a big kickoff this Friday night, and I just want you to know you're invited. If you showed up, I would have you welcome the parents. But I just want to let you know, I don't need you. I'm not counting on you being there.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
You are insignificant to me.
Someday I'll have your job and you will be nobody.
as a matter of fact, it might be better if you stayed at home. So whatever it is, because here's the deal.
I know you got a lot on your plate.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go to another knucklehead event. But if
Yep.
there's one that's really important, if I've done that several times and say, normally I invite you and then,
Right,
let you
dismiss
it,
yeah.
This would be a big one. It's 4 months from now. It's on. If you can get it on your calendar, I only need you for 15 minutes. If you could just do a drive-by appearance.
Yeah, the first 15
Yes.
minutes so you can bail. I'll keep
Yep.
people busy so they
Yep.
won't hold you up. And
Yep.
yeah, it's great.
It's a great hack.
I'll throw another hack too. I would say
Hack it.
the
Black Hat Conference just happened a little while ago.
the heads up email.
Speaking of hackers,
The heads up email could save your job. So when a parent is ticked, or when you make a bad decision, when you screw up, whatever it is, a heads up email or a quick connection with a senior pastor and whatever method of communication available could save your job. Otherwise, that parent is going to complain, and the senior pastor will have no context for what happened, and they're not going to know how to respond. They will have no defense. They just if you have messed up. Which
except for when you
happens,
do the heads up email when you don't need to, then you're like, oh man.
and you waste
yikes.
the secret. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the worst. Like, why did I confess that? No one even knew.
Oh man.
But hey, just a heads up, Mrs.
Cop once caught me for stealing when I was in 8th grade, and he pulled that on me.
Really?
no.
Yeah, you better tell your parents. I'm going to come by after. And you never came by.
He never came by, but
Yeah.
you confessed.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love
Love it.
God's just working on your heart.
Yeah.
But hey, Mrs. Smith was pretty upset. I played a video clip. Looking back on it, I think I probably
Yeah,
could
it
have
was, it was questionable.
used better judgment on that clip. I just want to let you know, if she
was
comes to
real.
you, please let her know that I have talked to you about it. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Otherwise, Mrs. Smith comes in hot
Yeah.
and is calling for your head. So a simple tip, just heads up, could
Yeah.
save your
Yeah,
job.
and then as a senior pastor, I can say, you're right, Mrs. Smith. Josh has already talked to me about that. He
And
understands
Exactly.
the
And
urgency.
I've already
Yes.
fired him.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, we've let him go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if the senior pastor is really cool, he's going, no, I know. Josh told me about that. I didn't think it was that big a deal.
Oh, wouldn't that be
I
a
gave him that clip.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so this is totally
I thought Eyes
irrelevant,
Wide Shut would be
but-
totally
but
appropriate for his series.
That's
Don't
a
worry.
big deal.
That was quite a
It's about
reference.
Thank you.
Years ago, we used to play video clips off of these things, VCR tapes. And
Yes.
so there was the skit. It was a skit from Saturday Night Live, Crystal Gravy, which was super funny. But when you rewind and hit stop, it rewinds it back a few extra seconds.
Young youth
Do you
workers
remember
wouldn't
this?
understand this. but
Yeah, and so
You could queue up your video at home, like, okay, I'm going to show this
Yeah.
3-minute
Right.
clip.
And then
you
eject.
take your VHS to the church
and you bring it in.
You
And
tell
just
your guy
play.
your ninth
Just
grade.
for fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
all you got to do is put
pimply.
it in, press that button.
Yeah.
And so it just rewinds like 5 seconds or whatever. And so it happened to be an episode where Pamela Anderson was hosting Saturday Night Live, but naked with like black bars over the areas.
Old school.
And that was what we showed on a Sunday morning, and it was.
I've forgotten about that.
How could you? That's
You'll never forget it.
Purity of heart is what
Yeah.
that is. But keep going.
No. Anyhow. That was
And you
beautiful.
kept your job. Did you send an email or text message?
No,
What
it
did
wasn't
you have
me.
back then?
It was
with VHS.
me. No, it was our
Doug.
person in
I
charge of
love it.
programming back then.
Was that Ted or Eddie?
Ted?
Oh,
Wow.
my goodness.
Oh,
Any other
man.
hacks,
Kept
tips,
his
Jess? What do you got?
job. Don't be high maintenance. It's like if something really matters to you, communicate that clearly. But I see so much dysfunction with youth pastor or any employee, senior pastor relationships, because it's like they should know that this is important, right? It's so obvious that my senior pastor should know this. No, he might not know. So just tell him, like,
Or
hey, it's or she. Thank you.
Yep.
This is really
Just not at
important
your
to me.
church.
Just not at Saddleback. Unless she's reporting to Katie.
I will
Katie's
not
pastor.
report to that. But just don't be high maintenance. But when something really matters to you, just communicate that clearly. Your senior pastor might not know that.
Yeah,
and
kind of
it's
pick
okay.
your battles too.
Yeah, pick
Yeah,
your
I like
battles.
that.
Not everything.
Pick
He
your
doesn't
battles.
have to. Or
That's a
she
good
doesn't
one.
have to do everything to make everyone happy. And one of the current points of conversation I hear with younger youth workers and younger staff members is, well, they need to just care for me pastorally more. And why doesn't my pastor meet with me one-on-one to just shepherd me?
Seriously, go find a blog to read. That drives
Listen
me
to a
crazy.
podcast.
And I totally get that. I get that we do need to be
That's what
shepherded.
your mother's for.
But at the same time, like Doug said, a senior pastor has a lot going on. And so I'm just going to bypass. He or she has a lot going on. And so if you need that extra
Yes,
shepherding, just be
yes.
clear. I would actually rather spend our connect time talking a little bit about where I'm at in my relationship with Jesus. That would really be encouraging to me. Yeah. And then I will bring a report of what I've been working on, if that's okay with you. And so rather than spending the entire time only talking about work. Yeah. And so just be clear about your expectations, but also just learn to let a couple of things go. They're not perfect and they have a lot on their plate.
Yeah. And if you are high maintenance, you really do need to find, and some of us are, but you need to find appropriate outlets for that.
Yeah.
All joking aside, well, not totally to the side, but But here's what I would say, which I think is part of this. I'm not sure it's a hack because I'm not cool enough for hacks. But as a youth worker working in a church, talking to the senior pastor, I think one of the things that could be most valuable is to realize that your ministry is not the center of the universe, and like you're moving into a role where you're the associate pastor for your, for your campus. And is this the first time out of youth ministry at Saddleback?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so to me, I would bet that your perspective a year from now will be a little bit different. Mm-hmm. As you see the need to collaborate with other ministries or even compromise, and not just on room space, but even like imagine caring what happened in other ministries in your church.
Man,
I
disagree with everything you said. Youth ministry is not the most important thing in your church. I am. That is preposterous.
Yeah.
You're on a youth ministry podcast. How dare you tell me to wear different hats and care about the whole thing?
Yes, well, that's what happens when you're on the B
reject that.
team. You get bigger perspective.
It's true. B is for bigger.
That's right. Bigger hearts.
McGill.
That's right.
Yeah.
Deeper
Yeah.
integrity. Just kidding. I don't know where that came from.
Unbelievable.
But it got a laugh.
All right, here we
Is that all
go.
that
This
matters?
is the history of the DYM podcast and the senior pastor
Wow. Senior
show.
pastor
Yes.
show. I like it.
Yeah,
senior
let's pray
pastor
for your
show.
senior pastor. Support him or her. Encourage
Seriously.
them. Know that you think you want their job,
You don't
but
want their
you
job.
don't
No
want
way.
their job. It's
No.
very, very difficult. They're taking shots all the time. Cheer them on
Hopefully
when you're off stage. Talk highly behind their back. Value their time. Don't always brag about your youth ministry in front of them and show off your insecurity. there's a lot of ideas and tips.
But you
in
do
here.
want to share the wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a fine line there.
That's right. That's right.
You can only walk that line with integrity, huh, Josh?
That's what I hear.
Jessica, thank you for
Yes,
driving
Jess.
down from
Thanks, guys.
Los Angeles,
Always.
the city of
LA,
angels,
the
to
streets.
Orange County, the
Yes.
city of
Oranges
clean.
The city
of clean
That
streets
is
and
so
paved
terrible.
roads.
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
take it.
Not as many
Actually, you
Love it.
can't, no one litters in Orange County.
No, they don't.
The
They
trash
care
just
too much
floats
about
away
property value.
and goes to LA.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, that was a great
You
show.
just don't want to
Fun.
be from the San Diego area, like Escondido. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
that
saying
would
there,
be
boys?
the worst.
Pretty sketchy.
Anyway, thanks
Yeah.
again to our guys
Thanks,
from
producer Nick.
Escondido who came up to do sound
Yeah.
and lighting.
So great.
Yeah, Matt, thanks
like
for
a
joining in.
brand new podcast.
LeadingYM.com.
Have
That's
a-
LeadingYM.com.
or
Have a
leading
safe
youth
trip.
ministry.
Youthministry.com.
Oh, you have both?
Yep.
Have a
That's
safe
good.
trip back to
Nice.
Pismo. It's been fun having you down.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you live here now?
I live here now.
Lives
been
just
a year.
down the street.
It's been a year. Who
It's
knew?
been a year. Me. It's been 13, almost 14 months. I know
Yeah, it
the
does.
day you
It's
came.
feel like it's been forever.
I know.
I mean, forever.
Welcome
right.
home.
Send your questions to
Oh.
podcast@downloadyouthministry.com, and we will see you at episode
See you.
342.
Cheers.
Cheers. I won't see you there. I might.
But the other guy.